So till now we have completed the first chapter, that is we have completed the first chapter, right? That is electric charges and fields. So now we'll start the next chapter, that is electrostatic potential and capacitance. Okay. So we'll get started with this. Write down the heading, Chapter 2, Electrostatic Potential and Capacitance. Okay. Yes. So tell me one thing. What do you think we are going to discuss in this chapter? So in the previous chapter, our concentration was upon the charges, the way the charges were distributed, and the fields that were generated due to the different kinds of charge distribution. Then we mainly concentrated on the electric fields, right? We tried to derive the electric field due to a dipole along axial point, equatorial point, due to a linear charge. Then we saw for a plane sheet, then spherical shell. That was our concentration. In this chapter, what are we going to do?
Sir, the concentration of charges.
Concentration of charges means
How much charge is present, or how much charge can this particle hold? Sorry, this mass can hold.
can some substance hold, something like that, right? So that's
Yes.
what capacitance speaks about. Then what does this electrostatic potential speak about? So what does this electrostatic potential mean? Okay. This is where an important question comes. See, if you observe the previous chapter, there was a problem like this. I would have told you there is a system of three charged particles or point charges which are placed at the vertices of an equilateral triangle. Right? So, now tell me one thing. This pen is in my hand. Okay, this is the one with which I'm writing on the whatever device I have. Okay. So I'm writing. No, if I have to start writing, what am I supposed to do this with this pen? Will I be able to write it if I hold it here? Obvious logic is no. So I have to first open the cap, and then I need to take this to the particular device. I need to keep in contact and then start writing so that you will be able to see whatever I'm writing. Right? So in a layman point of view, what are all the things that I'm doing actually? Put it in simple terms, I'm doing some work, right? So it is not possible, like when you saw the previous case, like when I told about the problem where three charges are placed at the equilateral triangle, is it possible that the charges will randomly come and sit at the vertices of the equilateral triangle? Is it going to happen any day? If you give an open chance to the charges themselves, say you go and sit at the ends of vertices of equilateral triangle, obviously they can't do it. Then who's doing it? It is us, right? We need to do some work. The next question that comes is, now I'm going to the basics of what is work done. Right? Before I understand what is electrostatic potential or something, first I need to have a clarity of what is work. When is work said to be done? Anybody?
There's a change in position of the object.
A change in position of object, can you call it as work? I don't think so. For creating the change in position of the object,
the force is applied and the body is moved in the direction of force.
Perfect. So if you apply a force on an object and the force is able to create some displacement in the direction of its application, then you say work is done. Right? So for work, what are all the necessary parameters for me to define work? I need a force, and the force should cause an appreciable displacement. So these are the two factors that I have in my hand. Right? If that is going to be the case, then what a mathematical expression you are going to give? Work done is equal to force multiplied with displacement into cos of the angle between the force and the displacement. Accepted? Right? So we call it as Fs cos theta. Fs cos theta. Now comes another question. This Fs cos theta, is the amount of work done by what kind of a force? What kind of a force can do this much amount of work? It is a constant force. And one more thing I need to understand is it is not necessary that every work done should be by a constant force. It can be due to a variable force as well. If suppose in the place where the displacement is caused, instead of constant force, what would have been the mathematical expression had it been a variable force? Work done is equal to, what are we going to say? Is it not integral of f
Integral of
into
fx.
yes? Is it not integral of f into dx, where you change the position of the object from the position x1 to x2? Can I put it like this? No. I spoke about all these things, right? Now I have a question. I'm speaking about work done, and the concept I have in front of my eyes is potential. What is the relevance between both? What is the relevance? Why am I speaking about work done without a reason for a concept called as potential?
So before the potential energy is converted into the kinetic energy, it will be the work done in carrying it, right?
Not exactly now. Here we don't speak about kinetic energy at all, because here also it is electrostatic only. Staticness, something which is at rest. When the objects are at rest, we don't speak about kinetic energy. Correct? That's the logic. No? That's what's supposed to happen according to the name.
Yes.
Yeah. Then why am I speaking?
The potential
Sorry?
potential difference.
See, my question is very simple. You let it be potential difference, potential energy, potential. I'm not concerned about all those things.
So you
Like
told
when-
at the starting we should bring that charges to that point. So two charges
Okay.
together, we should do that, and the work done will be the potential.
Okay, work done is there. Then why can't I call it as electrostatic work itself? Why am I calling it as electrostatic potential? I could have given a name, no? Like I don't want this name. I will give it as electrostatic
Because
work.
the charges are involved, sir. Charges is present.
Nothing to do with charge. The basic definition of energy, what does it speak? Your 9th standard definition of energy, what is it?
To do work. Capacity to do work.
Capacity to do work. So it has a lot of meaning, no? Though the statement of the definition is very small. Capacity to do work, done, 1 mark. But if you look at the inner meaning of it, no? Whatever work you do in this world, whatever work you do, will always get stored in some form of energy. For example, I have this pen lying in my hand. If I ask you what is the energy this material is having in this scenario, what is your answer? What energy does this pen possess when it is resting on my
Potential
hand?
energy.
It has nothing. It has nothing. Right? Because when I speak about potential energy, I need to give a reference. You say potential energy is mgh. I'll ask where is that h measured from? If I measure the h from my hand, I will say it has no energy. And we know the fact very well that any object that doesn't have energy is not going to react. Whereas if I remove my hand, what is going to happen to this pen? It can't balance itself, because the weight will try to do some work on this object. Whatever work it will do, the weight of the pen is how much? Mg. And if it comes and hits the desk on which my laptop is there, let's say it is at a height, it is at a depth h, then what is work done by the gravitational force? Force into displacement into cos of 0 degrees. Right? Force is mg, h is the displacement, cos 0 degrees. What is this? mgh. This mgh is what you're technically calling it as?
Potential energy.
The gravitational potential energy. But actually, if you look at the inner meaning of it, what is present in it? It is actually the work done by the gravitational force. That is what is getting stored in the form of potential energy. Are you able to visualize it? Guys, are you able to understand? That is the
Yes.
main reason why I spoke about work done in the case of electrostatic potential. Okay, here there are two important keywords to be understood. One is called as electrostatic potential energy. and the next is called as electrostatic potential. If you ask me, are they both different? Yes, they are, with a very, very, very minute difference. Okay, you need to concentrate a lot. So, before I start what is electrostatic potential, which is the name of this chapter, first I need to understand what does electrostatic potential energy mean. Okay, so one keyword I'm telling you guys, remember, wherever throughout your science, need not be physics or chemistry, wherever you see the word energy, then there is some work done. Without doing any work, you cannot speak about energy at all. You're able to understand? So, electrostatic potential energy. So, that is going to be the first topic of our discussion. Please make a note. Right. So, electrostatic potential energy is represented by the symbol capital U. Okay. So, write it down. Write down the definition. It is the amount of work done. It is defined as the amount of work done to move a test charge from infinity to a point within the electrostatic field of the source charge. So it is the amount of work done to move a test charge from infinity to a point within the electrostatic field of the source charge. Okay. Now comes another important question. See, if someone speaks to you about work done, or if somebody puts a question, can you tell me what is the amount of work done? The question is invalid. Okay, because if they ask what is work done without mentioning work done by which force, the question is meaningless. So whenever they ask a question, what is mandatory? They should say work done by which force. For example, an object is moving on a rough surface. You're trying to pull the object with a rope. So you're doing some work and rough surface, the friction is doing some work. If the question is what is the work done by you, that will be a separate value. What is the work done by friction, it will be a separate value. What is the total work done, that is a different value. Okay, so here in my statement, I need to do a small correction. The amount of work done by, there are two forces that are going to exist here. One is electrostatic force and the second is the external force. The electrostatic force means the force between the particles of the system. External force is a force by us. Okay, so amount of work done by external force to move a test charge from infinity to a point within the electrostatic field of the source charge is what we call it as electrostatic potential energy. Guys, are you able to understand this? So for me to calculate the mathematical value of potential energy, electrostatic potential energy, my job is to find out what is the work done by whom, by the external force. For that, I need to visualize what kind of a source is present. Right? Suppose I have a positive source charge. Okay, let's say the source charge, the charge of the source is Q. Okay, what is going to be the shape of the electric field around it? It is going to be
here.
It is going to extend itself as a sphere. Now, what do I mean by infinity? I told this in the previous chapter itself.
Outside the electric field.
Any point outside the electric field is what we call it as infinity. Infinity literally doesn't mean some other place. Okay, it's just outside the influence of electric field. Okay. Now, technically, how much is this distance? Infinity. Okay. Now, what I need to do is source charge is positive in nature. Q naught, this test charge, this is also positive in nature by default. Right. So, tell me one thing. Is it naturally possible for this test charge to go into the electrostatic field? Is it possible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Obviously no, because it is going to experience a repulsive force. If I need to overcome that, what am I supposed to do?
Apply external force or
To apply an external force which is slightly, okay, which is almost equal but slightly greater than the already existing electrostatic force. Okay. Now one more question to be answered is, in this scenario, whatever I've drawn, if I call this as scenario number 1, is it possible for these two charges to interact?
So it's outside the electric.
Because it's outside the electric field, that is not going to interact. So for them to interact, I need to ensure that the Q naught is stepping into the electric field of Q. Right? My responsibility is to bring it in this direction. So if I do it, let's say after some instant, I am able to find that Q naught is at that position, which is at a distance small r. Okay, which is at a distance small r. At this instant, had I removed my hand, what would have happened? The Q naught would have experienced a force in the rightward direction. It would have again be pushed out of the gravity, pushed out of the electrostatic field. But for it to remain at that position, or for it to move even more close towards a point charge, what am I supposed to do? I need to apply an external force in the opposite direction to that of the electrostatic force which is existing in the rightward direction. Are you able to understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now comes the question. At this instant O and let's say there is point P. Okay. When the distance between the point Q and Q naught is R, what is the magnitude of the electrostatic force that is acting on them? Magnitude. It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q naught, the whole divided by how much?
R square.
R square.
It is R square. Now, what did I say? How is my external force supposed to be? See, let's say the electrostatic field is 5 Newton. The electrostatic force is 5 Newton, okay? How much should be the value of external force for me to overcome the electrostatic field?
Greater than
Greater than the
Greater than.
slightly
See,
greater.
I'm applying a value slightly greater than, but mathematically it is taken to be almost equal to Fe. Like this is very much similar to the way you calculate angle of repose. Okay, so I need to try to understand this concept, guys. It is very, very, very tricky. So if the value of electrostatic force is 5 Newton, then the value of the external force that I need to apply is 5.00000, 10 zeros and a 1, which is approximately equal to 5 only. But in this case, my F external is succeeding because it is 0.0000, that is 10 times zeros and a 1 times greater than the already existing electrostatic force. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is this is approximately equal to the external force. Does that make sense? Okay, since F external is slightly greater than Fe. Clear? Now comes the next question. My job is to calculate the amount of work done. Right? So I can use the formula Fs cos theta or integral of Ftx depending on whether the force is a constant one or a variable one. In this case, is it constant or variable?
It should be variable because the force distance matters, right?
Perfect. It is variable because F external is proportional to the distance. So as I keep varying the distance between Q and Q naught, the value of R keeps changing. Since F external is a function in the sense it is dependent function of R, work done by external force is given as work done by external is equal to integral of F external into, now comes another question. With this F external force, I will move it to a small distance dr. Okay, I'll move it through a small distance dr such that it is given as F external into dr. From where to where? This dr is varying from where to where? It is varying from infinity to some distance r. Okay, so to avoid this confusion, what I will do is I am making a small change, guys. because all the formula will be in terms of R. Okay, so I will introduce the variable as X. Okay, I'm sorry if you have already made a note, just make the small correction. It is X square is dependent on X. So f external into dx, where X is varying from infinity to R. Okay. Now what is the value of f external that I can substitute? So integral of infinity to R 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q naught divided by x square into dx. So what will come out of the integral? Q into
1 by
q
4
naught
pi.
divided by 4 pi epsilon naught integral of dx divided by x square from infinity to R. Right? So this is nothing but q into q naught divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral of x power minus 2 into dx from infinity to R. So remember, integral of x power n dx is given as x power n plus 1 by n plus 1 for all values of n that is not equal to minus 1. So here n is not minus 1. What is it? It is minus 2. So q into q naught divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral of x power minus 2 will give me x power minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1 from infinity to R. I hope you guys are able to understand this point. Okay, this is going to be x power minus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1 from infinity to R, and the answer will be q into q naught divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by x from infinity to R. This is q into q naught divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R minus 1 by infinity. Okay, so it will be q into q naught divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R. This is the value of
Sir, can you scroll up? Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, on text before that also I need. Sir, a point also I need, sir. Can you scroll up more?
this one. Huh? You want me to go even more up?
Oh, no, sir, it's fine. It's fine.
So I have a doubt actually.
Keep copying, I'll be back. So did you guys copy it?
1 second.
I have a doubt.
Tell me.
Sir, why do we give an almost equal force, sir? If we give 10 Newton, then what's the problem?
Which one?
So you said we have to give a force, external force should be equal to, right? Almost equal to electric.
Almost. It should be slightly greater.
Why can't we give, like, for example, if it's 5 Newton and we give 10 Newton, what will be the problem, sir?
You can do it, but how will you calculate mathematically? 5 and 10 are particular values, no? There is a generic expression. How are you going to calculate?
Sir, கொஞ்சம் மேல போங்க sir.
I can give 100 Newton also. That's not the thing. For me to see, treat it like an experiment. For me to do this experiment, I need to apply only force which is almost equal to that value. It is then I will be able to derive an expression. You can do anything you want.
Okay, sir.
Sir, மேல போங்க sir.
Yeah. See guys, one mistake I made. I wrote it as minus 1 by x, minus 1 by x. Tell me now. You want me to go up? This fine? So, yeah. So, f external into dx, right? So, in your exam, you need not sit and write these 3 steps. These 3 steps can be ignored. So, integral of 1 by x square, directly you can write it as minus 1 by x. The intermediate steps I showed only for your understanding. Means after this step, you can directly come to this step.
Sir, how that negative sign came, sir?
Because minus 1 is there, no? X power minus 1 divided by minus 1.
Okay.
Done.
Sir, in the end, why are we not writing that minus 1 by r plus 1 by infinity, sir?
I wrote plus only. No? Minus 1 by r plus 1 by infinity. 1 by infinity is 0. No?
Sir,
But
no, sir. Is it will it be a part of the formula every time we apply it in a question or a problem, sir?
will it be the minus sign? Huh?
Yes, sir.
The minus sign is a part of the problem.
Okay,
You have
sir.
to use the minus sign. I will say what that minus sign indicates. That's what
Okay.
that's the next step. Okay. So are you guys done with copying?
2 seconds.
Yes, sir.
2 seconds.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now comes an important point. This negative sign, whichever you have drawn here, which has come out here, indicates that electrostatic potential energy, or I can say electrostatic force, is conservative in nature. So electrostatic force is conservative in nature. That is the indication of this negative sign. Okay, so when you're solving problems, you need to have that minus sign. Remember, okay. So this can also be called as absolute electrostatic potential energy. So what do I mean by absolute is in physics, we use absolute when you do a comparison with already known value. Here, I'm doing the comparison between 2 distances. One distance is r and the other distance is infinity. Okay. So at infinity, what do you think would have been the potential difference? Potential energy? It would have been 0. Okay, that's why we call it as absolute electrostatic potential energy. The next question is, can I speak about electrostatic potential energy difference? Yes, I can. Suppose I have a positive charge and it is moved from, and there is a source charge, and you have a test charge Q0 which is moved from a distance R1 to R2. Okay, then what is going to be the electrostatic potential energy difference? Delta represents difference, U represents potential energy. So delta U will be equal to final minus initial. So what is the value of final? It is minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q into Q0 divided by R2. Okay, minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q into Q0 divided by R1. I hope you understood what this minus sign indicates and this minus sign indicates.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the answer will be minus Q into Q naught divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R2 minus 1 by R1. This is what we call it as electrostatic potential energy difference. And when will that become an absolute potential? When the value of R1 is equal to infinity. Clear? Guys, any doubt till this point? Is there any doubt? I hope it is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
this only explain it again, sir.
Which
Potential
one?
difference.
See, electrostatic potential energy difference. I calculated what is the electrostatic potential energy when Q and Q naught were separated by distance R2. So when they were separated by distance R2, minus Q into Q naught divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into, I need to write the distance of separation between them, R2. Can I call this as the potential energy between the source charge and the point charge in the second case? Are
Okay.
you able to do this? Similarly, minus Q into Q naught divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R1 is the potential energy of the system when the first charge particle, when the test charge was at point number 1.
Okay, sir.
The difference of these two, that is what I call it as electrostatic potential energy difference.
Okay. So we can take any point now, sir, for the second case.
Point. What I had mentioned is, if I take R1 to be infinity, it becomes a special case and it becomes absolute electrostatic potential energy.
Sir, but we wrote for the second case only we wrote absolute electrostatic potential energy. First equation.
This is absolute.
Yeah, that's infinity, yeah, sir.
That's what is there, infinity.
Okay.
Okay, next is electrostatic potential. Which is represented by the symbol V. Okay, it's called electrostatic potential. So you need to be very, very, very careful between electrostatic potential energy and potential. Okay, question will have the clarity. Okay, so this is also going to have a similar definition, except the fact there will only be one term that is extra. You would have actually learned this in your 10th standard electricity chapter. They would have spoken about potential difference, no? Anybody remembers that? None of you. That's fine.
No, sir.
So, amount of work done by external force per unit discharge. This is the thing. You would have seen this kind of a definition, W divided by Q. At least this you remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's the meaning actually, okay. In 10th standard, they would have not spoken about potential energy. They would have directly told what is potential difference. For potential difference, actually they gave this definition, but actually it is for electrostatic potential, okay. So it is the amount of work done by the external force. This is the only thing that is extra per unit discharge to move the charges from, to move the discharge from where to where?
Infinity to a point that the electric field, electrostatic field.
To the discharge from infinity to a point within the electrostatic field. Within the electrostatic field. Okay. So what I can say is, can I say the amount of work done by external force to move a discharge from infinity to a point within the electrostatic field is it not electrostatic potential energy? or I can write it like this: mathematically, V is equal to work done by Q naught. But here, the work done is getting stored in the form of electrostatic potential energy and divided with Q naught. So V will be equal to how much term? You know the formula for electrostatic potential energy. It is minus Q into Q
AQ by
naught.
R.
So minus Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay. So, but here one thing that I'm going to ignore is the minus sign. The reason why I'm ignoring the minus sign here is because you already saw that the force is conservative in nature. Here we are concerned only about the magnitude. Okay. So it will be Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R. That's the value. Where Q stands for the magnitude of the source charge. And what does R stand for? It is the distance from source charge where potential is to be calculated. Okay, well, this is the meaning term. Please make a note. You're done?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, what is going to be the SI unit for it? You are saying it is amount of work done per unit charge. Work done is measured in joule and charge is measured in coulomb.
Joule per
It is
coulomb.
joule per coulomb, or joule per coulomb can also be called as volt. And volt is represented by the symbol capital V. Don't get confused between the symbol V and the notation V for potential. Okay. Right. Next. It is obviously a scalar quantity because I am saying it is a work done per unit charge. Work done is a scalar quantity. So potential is also a scalar quantity. Okay, well? Guys, I hope I am clear till this point.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is about electrostatic potential. Right. Now you need to understand another term called as potential difference. So where do we use the word potential difference? Can you tell me in real life also we keep using it? Suppose your TV remote stops working, okay, all of a sudden. What is the first check you will do?
Battery.
Check the battery.
You'll check the batteries first, right? When you check the battery, let's say the batteries have got spoiled. You go to the shop and you ask for a battery. What is the specification you will mention them? You will buy some random battery and come offer. One thing if you
Double A.
Is it a double A or triple?
double A or triple A something you will say. Then after you say that, what will you check on the battery?
Expiry.
You will check
Keep it
the
on our tongue.
not those things. That will work anyways. A sealed then it will work. You want to keep it on your tongue and test it.
Double A will be 1.5 volts, so I think we'll check.
0.5 volt. You're using the word volt, no. There, that volt actually means potential difference. Then give it a volt then. It is also volt. Right. There the volt with respect to the battery is actually potential difference. More technical term is called as electromotive force. That we'll see in the next chapter. For time being, we'll see what is because I want to explain what is the difference between potential and potential difference. Okay. You told 1.5 volt, Radha. Right? The battery has a positive terminal and the negative terminal. Right? So have this point in your mind. Whenever you speak about potential, if somebody asks you what is the potential, they have to say what is the potential at a point. That is the grammar they need to use. They cannot say what is the potential between the points. Grammatically wrong. Okay, according to science, that's the meaning. So potential of a point. Okay, So when you take the battery, the positive terminal, let's say it has a potential of 1.5 volt plus 1.5 volt, then how much is the potential the negative terminal is supposed to have for it to become a 1.5 volt battery? I'll draw in
1.5 volt.
battery. You have a small positive terminal, negative terminal. If I say the potential of the positive terminal is 1.5 volt and the battery is already 1.5 volt, then how much should be the potential of the negative terminal?
3.3 volt.
3.
It should be 0. It should be 0 because this 1.5 minus 0 is what is giving you the potential difference. Suppose the positive terminal is 1.2 volt, then the negative terminal should have been
0. Hey,
Minus 0.3.
Minus 0.3.
0.3 volt. Are you guys able to understand? So each terminal and each point will have potential. But the difference between those potential is what is the potential difference. That's what we will concentrate in the next chapter. As of now, understand what is the difference. Puriyada? Am I clear with this point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Simple aspect, but most of them fail to understand. Okay.
Sir, but difference is total, sir.
Difference is 1 minus 2. See, I told 1.2 volt. This is minus 0.3 volt left. So what is
Yes, sir.
potential? So 1 point. So if I call this as V1, if I call this as V2, V1 is the potential of positive terminal, V2 is the potential of negative terminal. Then V1 minus V2 is the potential difference of the battery. So 1.2 minus of minus 0.3. That is 1.5 volt. Potential difference, the difference is a subtraction.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the meaning there. Like why I stressed on this point is there is something we saw like electrostatic potential, energy difference. No, similarly we have potential difference also. I hope this point is clear. Now, what we will do is we will do some problems. Before that, let me give you a similarity of certain concepts from the previous chapter and this chapter so that you will have better understanding. Okay. In the previous chapter, if you see, we learned something called as Coulomb's law. So what did Coulomb's law speak about? If you have two charges Q1 and Q2 separated by distance r, point charges, then the force of attraction or repulsion between them is given by the value 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 into Q2 divided by r square. Right? In this chapter, if two charges are separated by distance r, then the physical quantity that you can speak about is given as minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 into Q2 divided by R. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to calculate the force, then if two charges are given, if they ask you the question like force, they will say calculate the force between the charges. Similarly, they will say calculate the potential energy of the system. This is the word they use. Potential energy is always calculated for a system. So for that system, it can have n number of charges, but what are the minimum number of charges required for me to define potential energy? Minimum charges required are 2. Okay, how to handle it I will teach you guys, but understand. Similarly, the other concept we saw in the previous chapter was electric field. So what did electric field say? It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R square. What is the expression you are able to find something similar to electric field here? It is electrostatic potential. Guys, are you there? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R. Clear? Okay. Now, from this, I can write a very, very important expression, though it is not needed for you, no book gives it, at least CBSE books. Okay, it is for you to understand. If I have these two charges Q1 and Q2 and distance between them is R, you can clearly observe F is equal to minus du divided by dr. That is, if I differentiate u with respect to R, okay, then I will get the negative of force. Similarly, if I differentiate the potential with respect to R, I will get the negative of electric field. About this part, we will concentrate a lot in the next parts. The subsequent parts we will be concentrating, okay? There is a specific name for it which is called as potential gradient. So have this point in your mind, electric field is a negative of potential gradient. This is important. This is for your knowledge. Minus F is equal to minus du by dr. That is the way you write a conservative force in terms of potential energy. Okay. I hope I'm clear, guys. Right? Shall we try solving a problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
So we'll try a problem from the textbook. Okay, look at the first one. Calculate the potential at a point P due to a charge 4 into 10 power minus 7 coulomb located 9 centimeter away. So there is a point charge of value 4 into 10 power minus 7 coulomb, and there is a point P which is located at 9 centimeter away from it. What is the answer? V is equal to, just now we saw the formula, what is it? 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R. Okay. So one important point I would have told you, we saw this in the derivation of electric field also due to a dipole. You guys remember? So whenever you write the expression for electric field, I would have told whether it is positive charge or negative charge, don't worry about it. Did I say that? Especially I would have told it dipole. I told vectors will take care of the direction. Whereas when you talk about a potential, no, potential is not a vector, it's a scalar quantity. So in this context, you are forced to put a sign for the charge. Please make a note of it. So answer would have been 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R had it been positive charge. If it was a negative charge, there is no other option other than you using a minus sign. Don't miss that. Okay, you lose marks. So keep losing marks aside, your answers will never
Sir.
match. Yeah.
Sir, unit only you should explain no, sir, for this sum. How do the unit comes?
Unit is volt platter.
Oh, there's no derivation for that.
No need. No need. We know the SI unit of potential. No, it is volt. That's it. Only thing, see, for you to obtain volt, what you need to do is convert this 9 centimeter to meter. Without converting, if you put it as volt, that is a blunder. Seriya?
Okay.
So right side element should be in terms of SI unit. So if you want to know how it has come, I will explain that. 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square, accepted. Into charge is measured in coulomb and distance is measured in meter. Meter cancel, coulomb cancel. Newton into meter is joule. Force into displacement, joule.
Okay.
That is volt.
Okay.
Cherry. This is an easy problem. Just wanted to stress on the points. I hope everybody made a note of the sign convention I told. Okay, don't miss it. Second, obtain the work done in bringing a charge of 2 into 10 power minus 9 coulomb from infinity to point P. Does the answer depend on the path along which the charge is brought? See, this one you can directly answer. Does your answer depend on the path along which the charge is brought? The answer is
No.
reason.
Scalar, not a vector.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
That's not a vector, so the path.
It has nothing to do with vector or scalar.
In a magnitude.
I used a word. I thought someone will ask me. I expected a question, but no one asked. What did I mention it here?
It's a vector.
I thought someone will ask me what is conservative force. You guys know that?
Last year work for an HB.
I know it has come down, but do you know the meaning of it?
Yes, sir.
Conservative force means, if you don't know, please make a note of it. If the work done, write it down. If the work done by any force, if the work done by any force is zero in a round trip, if the work done by any force is zero in a round trip, what do you mean by round trip? I start from a particular point, I go anywhere I want, I again come back to the starting point. Okay, that is what is meant by round trip. So if the work done by any force in a round trip is zero, then the force is said to be conservative in nature. Okay. Second important point is, work done by a conservative force, is path independent. Work done by a conservative force is path independent. Means you try to bring the particle from anywhere to anywhere through any path you want, the work done will be the same, because for conservative force it depends only on the final and the initial positions. Okay, well, so you just have this point in mind. Work done by conservative force is path independent. So that is the reason why the answer is no here. Okay, I don't know what he has given. No, work done will be path independent, and any arbitrary infinitesimal path can be resolved into two. So all this not needed. Forget about this. You can just write saying that the conservative force, electrostatic force is conservative in nature. That's it. Okay, that's more than sufficient. Second, obtain the work done in bringing a charge of some value 2 into 10 power minus 9 from infinity to point P. Now tell me one thing, guys. There are two charges in this problem, right? 4 into 10 power minus 7 and 2 into 10 power minus 9. Which is the source charge and which is the test charge?
Force charge is 4 into 10 to the power minus 7.
Very good.
Test.
4 into 10 power minus 7 is the source charge, and the test charge is the one which is drawn from infinity to the point P. So if you have to visualize this question, no, the source charge is already placed. There is a point P which is at a distance of r is equal to 9 centimeter from it. So whenever, like how I told, wherever charge is there, electric field will be there. I told this, no? Wherever charge is there, surrounding it, there will be electric field. In a similar way, wherever charge is there, at distance from it, there will definitely be a potential. Okay. So this point has a particular potential. Let me call that potential as Vp. Okay. Let's say this is infinity. There is another test charge Q0 which is brought from infinity to a point P. Okay. So when that is brought, you are doing some work. But what did I say? Work done by the external force will always get stored in the form of electrostatic
Energy.
Potential energy.
So V is equal to W by Q done. Then what will be the value of W? Is equal to Q into V, where this Q represents the magnitude of the test charge. And V represents the potential created due to the source charge. If you didn't understand, please make a note of it. Q represents the magnitude of test charge, and V represents the potential created due to the source charge. Right? So, I'll repeat it. So, Q represents the magnitude of whom? Test charge.
Test charge.
V represents the potential due to the source charge. Sariya? So how much is the test charge here? It is 2 into 10 power minus 9 into the potential is already calculated from the previous case, which is 4 into 10 power 4. Problem wise, it is simple run. So 8 into 10 power minus 5 joule is the answer.
So in what areas can we use this formula?
What?
In what areas can we use this formula, sir?
Good question. What areas means? See, there are two things, okay? whenever they ask you work done or potential energy, they both mean the same question. Okay. With respect to electrostatic potential energy, for you to calculate electrostatic potential energy, what could be one of the scenarios? They could give you two charges and the distance of separation between them. At that time, if they ask you about work done or potential energy, what is going to be the answer? Minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 to Q2 divided by R. I hope this point is clear. There is another scenario. They will give you one charge, or they will give you a potential due to a charge. They say there is a point P, and the potential of point P is say 10 volt. How much work is done to move a charge of Q naught is equal to 5 into 10 power minus 4 coulomb from Q naught to point P? Then what will you do? Then you will use Q naught into Vp. This Vp, where did it come from? There is some other source charge existing which we are not concerned about. In the question they didn't mention. But I know the potential. So Q naught is how much? 5 into 10 power minus 4 into Vp is 10. That is 5 into 10 power minus 3 joule. Are you able to understand? So these are the only two scenarios that are possible for them to ask about work done. Nothing outside this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Clear? Everyone is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's all from my side for today. So tomorrow we will start with these example problems. Then we will calculate the potential due to an electric dipole and all other parameters. Okay. This chapter is small only. Don't worry. It's simple. We can complete it fast. Okay. I suggest you all to revise and come for tomorrow's class. If there is any doubt, let me know. First 5 minutes we can utilize for doubt sessions. Then we can go to the next concept. Okay. That's it. We'll see you all
Okay, sir.
tomorrow. So not tomorrow.
sir.
Next
Thank
Monday. Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.